What up? What up? What up? What up? What up? What up? What's going on, YouTube family? What's good? What's good? What's good? Everybody doing great out there. But it's your man Danny back at it with another one, another one, another one, another one. Before you know it, it's gonna be another one. This time, back at it with another live live stream, live Bible read slash Q&A if there's anyone who might have some questions at the end of this. But want to ask that you like the stream as you come in, interact with me in the chat, subscribe to the channel, and be on the lookout for much more content coming very, very soon. Want to say I definitely appreciate those who have supported the channel. Via Cash Out, who have watched any of my past content via, or um, whether the live streams or any of my past content that I've dropped via videos, travel vlogs, Momo Chronicles, walk and talks, workout vlogs, some of my older videos, whatever. But definitely appreciate all the support, all the likes, anybody who ever liked the video, any of my videos, interacted with me, commented, whatever the case is. I definitely appreciate any and everybody who takes some time out to, come tap in and tap in with your boy and things of that nature. But I want to wish everybody out there and those who, definitely those who believe in the Bible and God and true and living God, the God who created all things. Those of us who upholds not only the faith in Jesus, but keeping of the commandments of God as well. I want to wish you all a happy Sabbath out there. Me myself, I'm in Irving, Texas, just slightly outside of Dallas, and it's about maybe 8:22. So the sun is down. So it is officially Sabbath time. But hadn't done this in maybe a couple weeks, few weeks or something like that. Um, between me going to sleep early or dealing with other stuff or whatever the case is, I hadn't done one of these. But God willing, I'll be looking to try to be a little bit more consistent with these. I try not to make any promises or vows that I can't uphold or keep and things of that nature. But this is something that I do find um, that hopefully people will. I find to be a great avenue to reach people and to hopefully edify someone, people out there, and try to uh, have a fellowship out there with like-minded people out there, and just try to give an open platform for biblical dialogue, questions, edification, things of that nature. So that's the purpose and goal of this particular live stream is to, open up the Bible, go read some scriptures, and leave a room for any questions and things of that nature. So today we're gonna read Proverbs the 16th chapter as well as Matthew the 16th chapter. And for anybody who might join, whatever case is, follow along in your Bibles. I'll be reading out of King James, and at the conclusion of our reading, I will um, basically open up the floor for any questions. Now, granted, me myself, I don't know everything. I do know some things. Lord has blessed me with some knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of His Word. I don't know everything. It's something that I can, so I will definitely try my best too. With at least maybe hopefully two scriptures or more. Though if I can't answer the question, I'll just yield to it and look to see if we can continue fellowship and hopefully at a later time we can get to the bottom of what the question is. But again, like the stream as you come in, interact with me in the chat, subscribe to the channel. Feel free to email me, DannyGoodman03 at gmail.com. But without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and get this party started. Why not? It's the Sabbath. Let's get into this book. So again, up in Proverbs the 16th chapter. Proverbs the 16th chapter. So we're gonna be starting at the first verse. I want to welcome anybody who has just jumped in. We're going to be reading Proverbs the 16th chapter, Matthew the 16th chapter, and I'll open up the floor for any questions that I will attempt to answer. And again, if I can't answer them, we'll look to um, continue fellowship and hopefully we can get to the bottom of it at a later time. So here we go. Proverbs the 16th chapter, starting at verse 1. The preparations of the heart in man, and the answer of the tongue is from the Lord. Wow. So I gotta go back over that one time. That is very deep. So it says the preparations of the heart. Now, when we read the Bible, we gotta understand that a lot of times when it's talking about the heart, we're dealing with the mind, because the heart that pumps blood in our chests and stuff like that, it doesn't um, have the capability to consider, things of that nature. So when we're looking at heart in the Bible, Heart, um, most likely is dealing with the mind, or so it says the preparations of the heart in man, and the answer of the tongue is from the Lord. That's just so deep to me. Um, that is very deep. And the answer of the tongue is from the Lord. Hmm. I would imagine that's a righteous answer, you know, because anybody can answer a question and be lying, fabricating, and things of that nature. But I would imagine that to be a righteous answer, you know, is from the Lord. Two, all the ways of a man are clean in his own eyes, but the Lord weigheth the spirits. Man, I, this is one thing that I really like about Proverbs, man. Like, I mean, these verses are so packed with substance, man. I'm telling you, like this one, these verses, I'm having to reread them because it's just like I have to allow my mind to process the wisdom that Solomon was conveying. So let's go back over verse 2 one more time. It says, all the ways of a man are clean in his own eyes. So I'll stop right there. So in this life, we go through this life, and a lot of times we think we think we know what's good for us. We think we know what's best for us. But yet, it's the Lord who directs our steps and things of that nature. We gotta yield to the Lord and have faith that the Lord is gonna um, lead and guide us. We gotta take our own thoughts and our own ways out of the equation and yield to the ways of the Lord. You know, so it says all the ways of a man are clean in his own eyes, but the Lord weigheth the spirits. Wow. 3, commit thy works unto the Lord, and thy thoughts shall be established. So if you committing your works to the Lord, you keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, keeping the faith of Jesus, especially if you've been baptized in the name of Jesus, you know, um, we have faith that, if we have faith in the scripture, right here, it says, commit thy works unto the Lord, and thy thoughts shall be established. So, we walking in the ways of the Lord, the Lord is going to direct us. We got to have faith in that the Lord is the captain of our salvation, um, and He's going to lead and guide us to through the righteous path in life, which is very narrow. A lot of people in this world, in this society, they're going contrary to the word of God. But you know, us, the brothers and any sisters out there who follow the Bible, we know this is a very narrow road, but we got to commit our works unto the Lord. Mm, and according to the scripture, it says, "And thy thought shall be established." Verse 4. The Lord hath made all things for himself, yea, even the wicked for the day of evil. Wow. The Lord hath made all things for himself, yea, even the wicked for the day of evil. Because the Lord, he doesn't, a righteous person, he's not going to use a righteous person to do evil, you know, but he might have set apart and established, a wicked or evil person or being to do something, right? Because the Lord has created all things. The Lord created evil, The Lord created all things. He created all the angels. He created the world, everything that we see. And even Satan, Satan before he fell, he was an angel. The Lord created him, but now that he has failed, he's still used by God. He doesn't do anything. He's he's only given permission to do certain things. He can't act beyond the things that he has been given permission to do. So right here, that validates that. So it says, "The Lord hath made all things for himself, yet even the wicked for the day of evil." So, just like when we see in the story of Job, when Satan had to report to the Lord, he was only allowed to do certain things. He couldn't kill Job. He could afflict him. He could do all kind of things um, to Job. He was able to. Um, Jones was good. Was good, brother. Appreciate you tapping in, man. Appreciate you tapping in. Yes, sir. But yeah, when Satan was reporting to the Lord, he was allowed to do a lot of things to him. He was allowed to um, stricken him, his health, his family. He was able to his servants. I want to say. I mean, it was a lot of things he was able to touch in his life. But the only thing he wasn't able to do was to kill Job. So right there, we see that Satan is his power is limited. So, though Christ created the angels, he even created Satan. You know, in the day of evil, the Lord has created something that was wicked to do those wicked things. You know, he wasn't going to send a righteous angel to do those things. Since Satan he failed, he allowed Satan to test Job. And um, Job was able to pass those tests. You know, so I'll read this verse again. It said, "The Lord hath made all things for himself, yeah, even the wicked for the day of evil." Okay? So but thanks for anybody who just checking in, like the stream as you come in. We in Proverbs the 16th chapter. We're gonna read Proverbs the 16th chapter. We're gonna read Matthew the 16th chapter as well. And if you stick around, I'll open up the platform for any questions. We'll go into the Bible and try to answer any biblical questions. And if you got any life questions, biblical questions about God, I don't know everything, but I'll go through the scripture and give it a good shot. In worst case, we can continue to fellowship and look to tackle it at another time. So right now we're in Proverbs the 16th chapter. We're going to be in the 5th verse. If you would like to follow along. So it says, "Everyone that is proud in heart is an abomination to the Lord. Though hand join in hand, he shall not be unpunished." So, the Lord looks at being proud very, he doesn't look at it, he doesn't take being proud um, very good. Right here we're seeing that as an abomination to the Lord. Um, just like a lot of other things, if we read according to scripture, according to the law, is an abomination, basically an uncleanness, something that the Lord abhors. Eating pork is an abomination. Being a homosexual is an abomination. And there's other things as well. But yet alone being proud, that's considered being an abomination to the Lord. So, a lot of us, we in this society, it will program us and market to us to try to be materialistic and to outshine and be better than everybody else and things of that nature. But according to the Lord, that's an abomination. If you're doing a lot of things out of pride, being proud, that's an abomination to the Lord. Proud looking things of that nature. Um, if any of us are dealing with pride or being proud or having a proud look, we need to look at ourselves in the mirror. Consider our ways. Let's look at verse 6. It says, by mercy and truth, iniquity is purged, and by the fear of the Lord, men depart from evil. So, you know, the last part of that verse definitely resonates to me because it says, and by the fear of the Lord, men depart from evil. Just like when we were children, um, we might fear our mom and our dad getting a spanking, getting a whooping, or being punished, or being on, being grounded, things of that nature, right? And therefore we acted like we had some sense, and we would depart from evil. Same thing from the Lord, same thing with the Lord is whenever you have fear of something or somebody, you will have respect enough to not want to cross them. That's the same reverence we should have with God. We should have a respect and a reverence and a fear. I truly fear God. I truly fear God because I know, after reading this book and seeing a lot of things that He's done and seeing the things He's going to do, I actually fear God. So, you know, having that fear, that reverence, that respect, um, keeps me from just being outlandish out here in the world, which is so easy to do in this, perverse, wicked, and cruel, cold world. It's easy to be wicked out here. It's more challenging to try to live upright and straight and along the narrow path. So so we'll continue reading it. We'll go to verse 7. So it says, when a man's ways please the Lord, he maketh his enemies to be at peace with him. So that's something that we should keep in mind as we move forward in life. If we um, please the Lord, He can create peace amongst you and your enemies. If your life is chaotic because you got so many beefs with people in your neighborhood and your town and your city and your state or whatever the case is, you got all this chaos going on, this turmoil going on in your life, all this static and conflict. You might want to consider your ways and see if you please Him. Because right here in verse 7, it says, when a man's ways please the Lord, make it even his enemies to be at peace with him. Me myself, in my life, I can't say I had too many enemies in my life. I've had some grudges with people for doing certain things and behind my back and things of that nature. But even at the end of the day, even these days, if I would have seen them, I'll still say what's up. It wasn't a life or death situation or nothing like that. So, um, and even as I go about in life these days, it's people who might not have good intentions when I cross their paths and might look at me sideways and stuff like that. But, I don't fear them. But even with that being said, I'm striving to keep the Lord's law, statutes, and commandments, keep the faith in Jesus. And, the Lord has sustained me to this point where I've been safe, So, um, I could definitely testify with this scripture right here, walking amongst so many cold people, in this wicked world in these last days. Um, he can make those who look at you sideways, size you up and all that kind of stuff. He can allow them to move around or be at peace with you at the end of the day. So we'll keep on moving to verse 8. It says, better is a little with righteousness than great revenues without right. So now I'll read that again. It says, better is a little with righteousness than great revenues without right. So something in my life that I'm truly trying to hold as a principle is living with desirelessness and living a minimalistic life, because I don't feel that I need to please nobody. I don't need validation from, no women out there, no brothers out there, nothing like that. The only validation I truly need is the validation of God, true and living God, the Most High. Um, and I also feel that, I validate myself. I aspire to do a lot of things, and I move according. I kind of march by the beat, my own drum necessarily, but so I don't need to try to prove myself to be something I'm not, or try to be somebody who I'm not. Things of that nature, which is contrary to what a lot of people do in the world and society. But reading this scripture right here kind of brings it home. Proverbs 16 chapter 8 verse says, better is a little with righteousness, because I'm not a millionaire, I'm not a billionaire, trillionaire, nothing like that whatsoever. I don't have a lot of things to my name and whatever, but I'm at a great place in life. I'm at peace of mind, I'm chilling, I'm grateful. God has been truly good to me and my family, those who I associate with, my spiritual family. We all go through things, but the Lord, still is there with us and along the way to strengthen us, keep us on the right track. So I'll read this one more time because this is a really good script. Better is a little with righteousness than great revenues without right. Because somebody can be out there, um, so what, they wealthy, they well off, whatever, but if they wicked, their eternal end um, isn't gonna be very nice. Yeah, they lived it up in this world. Yeah, they was out here doing that thing. You know what I'm saying? But it was without right. The Lord gonna judge us according to our works. So we're gonna keep it moving. So we're gonna go to verse 9. It says, "A man's heart devises his way, but the Lord directed his steps." So this is let me see. This is kind of going back to, let me see. I want to say this is almost kind of going back to verse 3, when it was like, "Commit thy works unto the Lord, and thy thoughts shall be established." Um, because it's the Lord who directed our steps. So it says, "A man's heart deviseth his way." Again, when we're dealing with the heart, we're dealing with the mind, the brain, not necessarily dealing with the muscle that's pumping blood in our bodies, because that muscle, that valve, that pump that's uh, feeding our body with blood, that's not devising our way, it's our mind. So it says, "A man's heart devises his way, but the Lord directed his steps." Verse 10. Welcome anyone just joining in. We're in Proverbs the 16th chapter, going to the 10th verse if you would like to follow along. The agenda is we're going to be reading Proverbs the 16th chapter. I'm going to read Matthew's the 16th chapter, and at the end of it, we're going to open it up for any questions, looking to go into the Bible, answer any biblical question about life, God, whatever the case is. If I'm not able to answer them, we can continue fellowship and look to tackle it at another time. So we're at Proverbs the 16th chapter, looking at the 10th verse right now. So it says, "A divine sentence is in the lips of the king, but his mouth transgresses not in judgment." I'll read that one more time. It says, "A divine sentence is in the lips of the king, his mouth transgresses not in judgment." Wow. His mouth transgresses not in judgment. So that just shows that, you know, uh, the righteous king, or a righteous king, should exemplify righteous judgment. It says his mouth transgresseth not in judgment. Verse 11 says, "A just weight and balance are the Lord's. All the weights of the bag are his word." So, A lot of times in this society, people be trying to get a hookup and, um, you know, trying to be unjust with their balances and weights and stuff like that. I'll give you an example. You might go to a store, restaurant, or whatever the case is, and you'll go up there and you order whatever the case is, and at the end, hey bro, I got you, I got you. No, you ain't got to worry about it. I got you. One, are you the owner of the store? Are you not? Okay. Are you the manager of the store? Are you not? Okay. So, bro, how you gonna try to give me a hookup? I'm ordering something. I'm willing to pay for it. Let me pay for it. Or say, for instance, if you pay for it and they give you more change than what you're supposed to get, a righteous person will be like, "Hey, bro, you gave me too much change. You get, I'm supposed to actually get, $1.25. You gave me $3.25. But some people might take that. Oh, wow, that's a blessing. No, that's unjust. That's unjust. So going back to verse 11 in Proverbs the 16th chapter, it says, "A just weight and balance are the Lord's. All the weights of the bag are His work." Verse 12, it says, "It is an abomination to kings to commit wickedness, for the throne is established by righteousness." So, again, those are righteous kings. We read in the Bible, we see that we have righteous kings and wicked kings. But, that's why those wicked kings were so much of an abomination to the Lord. It says, "It is an abomination to kings to commit wickedness, for the throne is established by righteousness." A lot of those kings that were established in the land of Israel, but they were doing all kind of wickedness, and they um, having other people to do more wickedness, serving other gods and things of that nature. You know, the Lord, you know, those things happening, but for a righteous king, when you see when the righteous kings came into power, they cleaned all of that stuff up. They would tear down those high places and those statues and the groves, and they would tear down all the wicked, abominable things that those wicked kings had established before them. Right. Verse 13, it says, "Righteous lips are the delight of kings, and they love him that speaketh right." We shouldn't be out here lying. We shouldn't be out here bearing false witness. We shouldn't be out here doing any of those things. We should speak truth to our neighbors. Um, you know, Dealing with truth with everybody. You know what I'm saying? So, verse 14 it says, "The wrath of a king is as messengers of death, but a wise man will pacify it." Wow. 15, "In the light of the king's countenance is light, and his favor is as a cloud of the latter rain." Wow, I gotta be doing time, man. Solomon was on something with this. He said, "In the light of the king's countenance is light." Wow. "In the light of the king's countenance is light, and his favor is as a cloud of the latter rain." Wow, that's so deep. 16, "How much better is it to get wisdom than gold, and to get understanding rather to be chosen than silver." I gotta read that one more time. How much better is it to get wisdom than gold? Because a lot of people in this life, they would take gold over any and everything. They don't care about no understanding or no wisdom. They'll gladly take the bag. You know, that's why people perish for lack of knowledge, because they rather grab that bag, go get that hookup, go hit that lick, you know, versus getting some understanding, get some wisdom. It's a shame. But right here again, Solomon in verse 16 says, "How much better is it to get wisdom than gold, and to get understanding rather to be chosen than silver." Wow. 17, "The highways of the upright is to depart from me. He that keepeth his way preserveth his soul. The highway of the upright is to depart from evil. So that's what's very important for us to do um, as Christians, so-called Christians. Being followers of Christ, um, trying to walk in His ways, and trying to make it to the kingdom ultimately. Trying to make it into everlasting life. We must depart from evil. So it says, the highway of the upright is to depart from evil. And how will we know what evil is if we don't get into the scriptures to get understanding of what even sin is? Sin is a transgression of the law. So anytime we're breaking God's commandments, that's what sin is, and that's what evil is. So we got to depart from breaking God's commandments. Anything that opposes, that is contrary to God's commandment, we got to walk away from those things. We got to walk in the light and not walk in darkness. Right? And say, "He that keepeth his way preserveth his soul." So 18. Pride goeth before destruction, and a haughty spirit before the fall. So that go back to those who reading verse 5. When in verse 5 is telling us everyone that is proud in heart is an abomination to the Lord. So again, the Lord don't that pride and proud, those are things that the Lord hates. Those are things that are abominable to the Lord. It said pride goeth before destruction. And the thing is, somebody can get all pompous and high minded and beating their chest and things like that nature, but right around the corner, is detrimental to them. It's gonna be, um, it's not gonna be good for that person. Yeah, they all pompous and proud right now, but right around the corner, they're gonna be a humble, hopefully. You know, and it says, "in a haughty spirit before a fall." So, if you guys are dealing with proud, don't let this society gas you up into being something that you not, or somebody who you not, or trying to be somebody who you not. Don't let this wicked, crooked world, gas you up in that direction, y'all. Because as we see, if so, you headed for destruction and a fall. So, you know, that's why we get into the book to kind of give us a guide through life. And if we seeing these things ahead of time, that pride can cause you destruction and a fall, why even go down that road? It would be idiotic for us to read through these scriptures and seeing that pride can cause these things and still walk in that direction and then still have to go through it. So let's be wiser than that. So we're at verse 19. It says, better it is to be of an humble spirit with the lowly than to divide the spoil with the proud. And again, like I was saying, me myself, I'm working to live a minimalistic and desireless life. You know, just working to kind of humble myself. Try to stay humble. At times, even I have to deal with pride. I got to just make sure I keep it in check to the best of my ability. But a lot of times, I try to overcompensate with humility and put myself in a situation where I gotta exercise humility. You know what I'm saying? Because I know that that's a maybe a dichotomy. Maybe I want to say that that the Lord is looking at. Are you proud? Are you humble? Proud? Or are you proud? 20, verse 20 says, "He that handleth a matter wisely shall find good, and whoso trusted in the Lord, happy is he." All right, because without trusting in the Lord, you gotta have faith in who the Lord is. Just us believing on God, believing on Jesus. Looking in these scriptures, looking in this book, and reading what we read and believing in, we didn't see these things. We didn't see all of these stories that we're reading about. We didn't see Jesus, in the flesh, but yet we believe on him. But, we should be happy because it says right here, and whoso And whoso trusted in the Lord happy is he. We have a joy. We have a great joy that we look forward to. Um, we look to be just like Christ. When He comes back, at His arrival, we're gonna be caught up. Whether we have passed away, He's gonna raise us up, and we're gonna be just like Him. Or we still living at the time of His arrival. We're gonna be caught up, and we're gonna be made just like Him, and we're gonna reign and rule with Him on this earth without Him. Um, we have a great joy to look ahead of. That's we have great faith to uphold. So 21 it says, "The wise in heart shall be called prudent, and the sweetness of the lips increaseth learning." 22, "Understanding is a wellspring of life unto him that hath it, but the instruction of fools is folly." So that's why it's very important to get understanding. A lot of people can go through these scriptures and quote scriptures left and right to the glue in the face, but if you don't understand what you're reading, even so much to even apply it to your life, what's the gain in that? If you know all these scriptures, quoting all these scriptures and stuff like that, but you don't apply none of them to your life, you must lack some understanding. So, but it says, "For understanding is a wellspring of life unto him that hath it, but the instruction of fools is folly." 23, "The heart of the wise teacheth his mouth, and addeth learning to his lips." So, I guess it is important for us to continue our learning, continue gaining understanding, because we're reading this right here from, aside from Jesus, the wisest man who walked the earth. You know what I'm saying? So we in verse 24 it says, "Pleasant words are as an honeycomb, sweet to the soul, health to the bone." Pleasant words are as a honeycomb, sweet to the soul, health to the bone. So that's why, we shouldn't go around with harsh language, cussing and stuff like that, because it says pleasant words are as and honeycomb sweet to the soul and health to the bone. So we should speak edifying words. Those of us who will name the name of Christ, we should depart from evil. And we should also speak pleasant words, edifying words. But when anyone just joining we in Proverbs the 16th chapter, just read the 24th verse, going into the 25th verse. I want to encourage you to follow along. We're going to read Proverbs the 16th chapter as well as Matthew the 16th chapter. And I'll open up the platform for any questions. I'll go into the Bible and try to attempt to answer any biblical questions about God, life, and we'll go from there. So, verse 25 says, "There is a way that seemeth right unto a man, but the end thereof are the ways of death." Wow, so that goes back to verse 2 when it was like all the ways of a man are clean in his own eyes. So it's a way that seems right to us, our ways of clean in our own eyes, but that's what we got to get in this book to see what's clean in the Lord's eyes, because it is a difference. It is a difference. It says, but the end thereof are the ways of death. 26, "He that laboreth for himself, for his mouth craveth it of him." 27, "An ungodly man diggeth up evil, and his lips there is, I'm sorry, and in his lips there is there is a burning fire." Wow, so it says, "An ungodly man diggeth up evil." So, that goes, let me see, 27. That goes back to, let's see, verse 4. The second half of verse 4 says, "Yeah, even the wicked for the day of evil." So an ungodly man diggeth up evil. So someone, according to verse 4, the wicked. So, okay, I'll just start the whole verse where it says, "The Lord had made all things for himself. Yeah, even the wicked for the day of evil." So there are some ungodly men out here who were just made for the day of evil. And those ungodly men diggeth up evil. So that's all they own. That's all their mind is on is wickedness and evil. And it says, and in his lips there is a burning fire. 28, a froward man soweth strife, and a whisper separated chief friends. A froward man soweth strife. Wow. So when you sow discord, that's one of those things that the Lord hates, you know. And a whisper separated chief friends. So if you're out there gossiping and telling people business and separating friends and stuff like that, you need to check yourself. Look yourself in the mirror. You got to correct that. Repent from that. Because that's not righteous in the sight of the Lord. Showing discord out there, being an instigator, and things of that nature. Y'all gotta nip that in the bud. Y'all leave that alone for real, for real. That's not what that is. Verse 29. A violent man enticeth his neighbor and leadeth him into the way that is not good. I'll read that again. So it says, a violent man enticeth his neighbor and leadeth him into the way that is not good. Wow. So a violent man that sounds like a setup. That sounds like somebody who's gonna line you up. But that's a violent man. Got to be a violent man if he got that kind of mentality to try to line up, you know, his neighbor. Oh, hey, bro, I know this dude. He got this and that. He leave his crib. He leave his house. Around this time, so I'm right here. What I'm saying, we go do that. You know what I'm saying? Or I know this dude. He got this and this and that and all this kind of stuff. And what I can do, I can just have him come over here. We meet him over here. And I know he gonna probably have this and this and that. We can do something. That ain't what that is, man. I need to chill. You know what I'm saying? That's a violent man. So it said a violent man enticed his neighbor and leaded him into the way that is not good. Wow. Verse 30. He shut his eyes to devise forward things. Moving his lips, he bringeth evil to pass. Wow. So I'm guessing it's still going in verse 30. That's a continuation of verse 29, because in 29 it says, a violent man entices his neighbor and leading him into the way that is not good. He shutteth his eye to devise forward things, moving his lips, he bring evil to pass. Wow. 31. The hoary head is a crown of glory, if it be found in the way of righteousness. So hoary head, that's like having a gray head. Start getting grays and stuff in your head, and beard and stuff like that. It's a crown of glory if it be found in the way of righteousness. Because there's a lot of people who got grays in their beard and their head and stuff like that, but they're not righteous. You know what I'm saying? So according to this, somebody who's grayed out, what I'm saying, or graying or whatever the case is, it's a crown of glory, but if they are a righteous person. 32. He that is slow to anger is better than the mighty, and he that ruleth his spirit than he that taketh the city. There's so many times when I look in the newspapers, well, not necessarily newspaper, but like when I'm on a news site and I'm reading the headlines and stuff like that, and it discusses about like a murder that has happened. It's just so crazy how it often stems from argument, fight, things of that nature, and then where it, somebody is shot and killed. So that's why it's very important for those of us men. If there's any sisters watching or whatever the case is, um, we got to be slow to anger, because that's better than being mighty. That's better than being able to go to the gym and lift 400 pounds, bench press, squat, whatever case, clean, deadlift 400 pounds. It's whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you are slow to anger, that's better than the might. Than being mighty. And strengthens and things of that nature. And it says, and he that ruleth his spirit, then he that taketh the city. So even if you're able to have self-control and temperance and stuff like that, you better than a conqueror. You better than someone who conquers land. You know what I'm saying? So it's very important for us to be um, temperate and have self-control in our lives, and definitely with our temper. You know what I'm saying? So 33 says, "The lot is cast into the lap, but the whole disposal thereof is of the Lord." So casting lot, that's basically like instead of you making a decision for yourself, you yield to the Lord, and you might seek the Lord's counsel on a particular question or something like that. Or if you need some wise counsel, you might say, for instance, say like if I took this note card, right, and I'm like, Lord, should I do this? Yes or no? I might take this and I might tear it up and make like a yes and a no, ball it up, shake it up, pick one. It might be yes, it might be no. But especially if I pray before I do all that kind of stuff, I'm having faith that whatever it is that I pick, that's gonna be the Lord's will. So that's casting a lot, basically. Um, but yeah, we've completed Proverbs the 16th chapter. What we're gonna do now, we're gonna read Matthew the 16th chapter, and after that, we're gonna open it up for any questions and kind of go from there. Hope everybody is doing well out there. I want to ask y'all to like the stream as you come in. Then we read Proverbs the 16th chapter, and now we're about to go into Matthew the 16th chapter. All right. So it says, "The Pharisees also with the Sadducees came and tempting desired him that he would show them a sign from heaven. He answered and said unto them, When it is evening, ye say, it will be fair weather, for the sky is red. And in the morning, it will be foul weather today, for the sky is red and lowering. O ye hypocrites, ye can discern the face of the sky, but can ye not discern the signs of the times? A wicked and adulterous generation seeketh after a sign, and there shall no sign be given unto it but the sign of the prophet Jonas. And he left them and departed. And when his disciples were come to the other side, they had forgotten to take bread. Then Jesus said unto them, Take heed and beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and of the Sadducees. And they reasoned among themselves, saying, Is it because we have taken no bread? Which when Jesus perceived, he said unto them, O ye of little faith, why reason ye among yourselves, because ye have brought no bread? Do not do ye not yet understand, neither remember the 5 loaves of the 5,000, and how many baskets ye took up? Neither the 7 loaves of the 4,000, and how many baskets ye took up? How is it that ye do not understand that I spake it not to you concerning bread, that ye should beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and of the Sadducees? Then understood they how he had bade them not be. Let's see, then understood they how that he bade them not beware of the leaven of the bread of the leaven of bread, but of the doctrine of the Pharisees and of the Sadducees. And that's something that we got to be mindful for even today. There's so much bad doctrine out here in the world. We got to truly show ourselves approved. And then when we study in this Bible, when somebody's coming at us biblically or trying to come at us spiritually, whatever the case is, we're able to have some checks and balances, because anybody who just naming the name of Christ, you know what I'm saying, they could be a false prophet. How would you know if they are a false prophet or they are a true prophet? The determining factor is if they coming out of the Bible and if they teach according to the scripts. Preferably, line upon line, precept upon precept, especially if they dealing with like a Bible lesson or Bible study. preaching, whatever the case is, and like that. So yeah, so he was dealing with, when he was talking about the leavening in this example, he was dealing with the doctrine of the Pharisees and of the Sadducees. 13, when Jesus came to the coast of Caesarea Philippi, he answered his disciples, saying, "Whom do men say that I, the Son of Man, am?" And they said, "Some say that thou art John the Baptist, some Elias, and others Jeremiah, or one of the prophets." He said unto them, "But whom say ye that I am?" And Simon Peter answered and said, "Thou art the Christ, the Son of the living God." And Jesus answered and said unto him, "Blessed art thou, Simon Barjona, for flesh and blood have not revealed it unto thee, but my Father which is in heaven. And I say unto thee that thou art Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. And I will give unto thee the keys of the kingdom of heaven, and whatsoever thou shalt bind on earth shall be bound in heaven, and whatsoever thou shalt loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven." Then charged he his disciples that they should tell no man that he was Jesus the Christ. Wow. And that just go, when I read this, it kind of, I see that the Lord was humble in that stuff, and he was humble in that because it wasn't like he was going around beating his shit saying, "Yeah, I'm the Son of God. Yeah, I'm the, I'm this, I'm that." He was going around saying he was the Son of Man. He wasn't going around just being proud and pompous himself. So that just goes to show why we need to be humble ourselves. While dealing with some of those proverbs scriptures, dealing with being humble versus being proud. We gotta look at Christ as being our example. So 21, it says, "From that time forth began Jesus to show unto his disciples how that he must go into Jerusalem and suffer many things of the elders and chief priests and scribes, and be killed and be raised again the third day." Then Peter took him and began to rebuke him, saying, "Be it far from thee, Lord, this shall not be unto thee." But he turned and said unto Peter, "Get thee behind me, Satan. Thou art an offense unto me, for thou servest not the things that be of God, but those that be of men." So he just gave him the keys of the kingdom, but then he just, time goes on, and in this example, or in this particular passage, Peter, he got rebuked of the Lord, because he, I guess maybe out of zeal, he didn't want to hear about what was going to happen, as far as Christ being killed. But then he had to, the Lord rebuked Peter. All right. And then 24 says, "Then said Jesus unto his disciples, If any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me." So that's why, as a Christian, we truly gotta be okay and comfortable with walking away from whatever life we have settled for ourselves or established for ourselves. We gotta be willing to walk away from, family members, friends, wives too. I mean, if any of those things are contrary to the word of God, we establish this life for ourselves, but it's built off of us transgressing God's laws. So what if you prosperous? So what if you're six figure, millionaire, billionaire, whatever the case is, with having to work on the Sabbath, work on God's feast days. You have to steal and do robberies or doing unjust weights and you know um, balances and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? What good is that? So we gotta look at ourselves in the mirror. Or if we dealing with a wife who is contrary to the word of God. Now if she's pleased to be with you, you gotta, stick with her, stay along, stay along with her if she pleased to be with you. But if she trying to get you to serve a pagan God and she not pleased to be with you and all that kind of stuff, you might have to let her make it. Same thing with family members. If they uh, gonna try to provoke you to do wickedness and contrary to the word of God, you got to be able to walk away from them as well. So and so on and so on and so on and so on. Even ourselves, we got to look at ourselves in the mirror often. And there's certain things about ourselves that we don't like. That's contrary to the word of God. We gotta cut those things off. See what I'm saying? So I'll start back at 24 to read that again. It says, then said Jesus unto his disciples, if any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. And that don't mean you gotta wear no cross necklace. That's not telling you to wear no cross necklace. It's talking about dealing with self-denial, having again having temperance, um, putting away wickedness, departing from evil. That's not talking about you go to the nearest bazaar or swap meet and get your gold chain with a gold cross. It's not saying that. So we gotta be wise, man. Come on. 26. For what is a man? For what is a man? For what is a man profited if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul? So let me see, what was it? It go back to that Proverbs 16 that we were reading. It was in 8. It says, better is a little with righteousness than great revenues without rights. So it's better to have little but righteousness than have a lot and you ain't even living right. So 26 said, what is a man profited if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul? For the Son of Man shall come in the glory of his Father with his angels, and then he shall reward every man according to his works. So again, we're not going to heaven when you die. You don't go instantly to heaven or hell. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna be asleep. Those who die righteously, they're gonna be caught up, in the clouds to meet Christ in the air, and then they're gonna come back down to earth to reign on earth in Christ's kingdom along with, at his arrival, at his coming. Same thing for those who are still living at the time who are righteous, right? Be caught up in clouds, and then they're gonna come right back down to earth and reign with Christ on earth in his kingdom. They're gonna help, and then they're gonna be spiritual beings and they're gonna live forever. All right. In the last verse of Matthew the 16th chapter, it says, "Really I say unto you, there be some standing here which shall not taste death till they see the King. I'm sorry, till they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom." So again, it's gonna be some Christians, some followers, some servants of God who not gonna live, who not gonna die, but they gonna live to see the Lord, um, his arrival. Right? So yeah, I want to thank any and all y'all for checking out this live Bible read. Um, Definitely want to open it up for any questions. So I'll give a few moments to if anybody's on. I'm gonna take a quick break, real quick. But if you have any questions, put them in the chat, and I'll look to answer those here shortly. But give me one moment. I'll be right back. All right, so I'm back. So I'm gonna give it a few moments to see if anybody has any questions. If I got any questions, again, I want to huge shout out to my boy Jones, always showing love to the boy. Just checking in, appreciate the content. I appreciate you, my brother. You might not be still on, but I definitely want to send a shout out to my boy Jones for his constant support of the channel, content. Stay on the lookout for more, my brother. I got a lot in store. God will keep on waking me up. Got a lot more content coming. So give it a few more moments. If no one has anything, go ahead and get this thing closed out. But I appreciate y'all for checking out the stream. Um, hope y'all have hit that like button as y'all came in. But again, I want to ask y'all to subscribe to the channel. Be on the lookout for more content to come. I will look to try to do these more often. I'll try not to have many more lapses of, 2-3 week gaps. If it's a week that I don't do it, I'm gonna try to make it I'm trying to make a really good effort. Like if it's one week that I don't do it for for whatever reason, I'll try to follow up with doing this that preceding week. So it doesn't look like I have any questions right now. So I'll go ahead and end this. But again, I appreciate those who come in, like the stream, commented, and be on the lookout for more content. Check out some of my past videos. But I hope y'all have a great Sabbath out there. Y'all keep it holy. Hope y'all enjoy y'all holy convocation out there. Hit me up via email, DannyGoodman03@gmail.com if you have anything for me. But until next time, your boy is out. Peace.